you can jailbreak an iPhone from an Android phone.
So John, there's been a jailbreaking scene for a long time, and it was always a matter of taking your phone home, plugging it into your machine, and doing something with the software from a desktop or a laptop. But now it seems like the power to jailbreak is now very portable. Can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, sure. And I want to preface all of this discussion by rooting and jailbreaking are never a good idea. start with that. But there are a certain community of people who think that that they can do a lot more functionality or have more features if they jailbreak or root their device. But like you said, Matt, it's always been this kind of a limited control, a limited ability to do it. You have to have the phone, have a computer, have all that software. And and the big vendors, the Googles, the Apples are trying to prevent people from jailbreaking. So it's a constant battle. But one of the recent tools to jailbreak an Apple phone is a tool called CheckRein, which is fairly new. It's a boot ROM vulnerability that they kind of work around, and the interesting thing about the jailbreak on the Apple there is that it doesn't persist. So as soon as you reboot the phone, update it, operating system wise, you have to re-jailbreak it. But again, like I said, it's always been one of those things you have to take that phone and then turn around and find the computer with the software and actually execute that jailbreak and then maybe redo it a couple more times every time you restart. The CheckRein program is kind of neat in that they ported it to Linux, and the challenge there is once you port it to Linux, of course, Android is a Linux kernel. And so if you root a Google or any other kind of Android phone, now you've rooted that phone, and there are a lot of tools to root Android phones. You can turn around and load CheckRein on your Android phone. It's Linux. Linux is Linux. And so what they've actually been able to accomplish by this is that if you have an Android phone that's rooted and you load CheckRein on it, then you cable it up over to your Apple iPhone, you can now use that CheckRein jailbreak on that Apple phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I guess technically this was always feasible. Maybe someone finally discovered that maybe this was a good idea, especially given how often with the non-persistent root method, you would have to actually keep doing this over the cable. They're just like, well, I'm just going to put it on my phone. And they probably realized how smart of an idea that was. But yeah, that's interesting too, because I mean, this is a little, if you were an attacker and you wanted to gain privileges to somebody else's phone, isn't this kind of a more portable, more effective way of using this attack?
And that's exactly what that worries me more than anything else is that, there's always, you have the whole, I lose my phone or I'm not keeping an eye on where my phone's at. We all live with our phones, but sometimes they get out of our presence. There's always that concern that maybe it goes over to somebody else's computer, somebody else has got a laptop or something else. Now they have to do is having themselves have a phone. And so you've added that, like I said, that portability factor to the jailbreaking that can occur.
Mm. So, I mean, is there anything that can be done at this point? Is there a way to fix, defend against CheckRein at least, whether it's on one platform or the other?
Right now, there's not. I mean, other than just due diligence. I would expect, and this is just John being, opening his crystal ball, is that whatever was allowed CheckRein to work, that boot ROM issue, is going to get fixed in the next version, or at least prevented the next version of Apple iOS, which means those guys will have to figure out another way to do it. That iOS version 14 is probably going to come out next couple months. Again, this is my crystal ball, no inside information here. And so when that happens, then this should be, resolved. But it speaks to that whole question, right? Don't let your phone out of your sight and keep your devices updated. Mm. And you're not, so but that community that wants to jailbreak it, this is still a tool that they might be able to use.
What this reminds me a little bit of was George Hotz's work with the PlayStation 3. Remember, he managed to jailbreak that, and he was also an iPhone hacker at one point. But ultimately, the attack that he developed for that was made into like a portable thumb drive. You could just plug into a PlayStation 3 and own that thing. I'm surprised we haven't seen more like custom thumb drives or custom USB devices or custom Lightning devices for iPhone. Like, I guess that's the next logical step in my mind is a much more portable, like smaller than pocket-sized device with all these different attacks on it.
Think of Linux on a stick. We already have that technology, right? So yeah, what's like you said, the progression might be just to take that stick and put a Lightning, and Apple's probably moving away from Lightning anyway. Just USB, C or whatever they're going to use, and just have that port on it.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Yeah, well, that's the business, I guess. Yeah. Physical access is still required in order for someone to use this as an attack against your handset. So, again, the same way that we would recommend you not leave your phone around strange places, just keep an eye on it. If someone decides to plug their phone into your phone for any reason, probably tell them no. But other than that, it's not going to require any major changes in behavior for most people.